Hey everyone, this is LCID 932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Love is Blind Habibi. We are getting into it. Thank you so much to those who have already viewed and liked my first episode recap. I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate you being here for episode 2. So please like the video, share, subscribe to the channel so you can see exactly when I upload all of these amazing episodes. So, episode 2, when we left off, Karma was like, am I really falling in love with Amar? Or is this just excitement? So, again, please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing the names correctly. It is not for lack of trying. I'm trying to pay attention to it, but I definitely don't mean to offend anyone at all. So, Karma does say she can't believe she's falling for him and doesn't know what he looks like. He proposes, she says yes. Interesting. Some people are proposing, some people are saying, hey, will you continue this journey with me? And they would rather go through the parent or elder before proposing. Either way, I know there are several different countries in this UAE as far as Morocco, Egypt, and other members. So I guess culturally, or just for a person's level of tradition, it would change. Then we have Muhammad and Safa. He expresses he really likes her. Every day he wants to talk to her more and more. And she starts crying and he says, you know what, your tears are precious. He loves her and she says it in return. We have Karim and Safa. She says she likes him while he shows emotions. And I'm like, okay. The men go back to the lounge and they're sharing of their dates or who they like is affecting their dates. Because Kareem has an awkward date with her, and I'm thinking is because, Muhammad went back there and said, hey, Safa is mine. And quite a few men do that. And so the other man backs out. So she's initiating the convo with Kareem in this date. She says she's not sure how she feels because he's not opening up. She's like, there's no issue with age or conversation or their mental connection, but she is not sure of their emotional connection. He says this is not a game. He wants her to find happiness, and they both agree to just walk away. He goes back into the lounge and he tells the men he has let Safa go. I think this is partially tradition. Maybe. You could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And it's also kind of robbing the women of a choice. But am I delusional? You could say, am I delusional in thinking that the woman had a choice to begin with? That is something to think about. So then we have Hatab, 32. He's an architect and a music producer. He said all his life he has felt rejections, especially through his music career. He has a date with Osma. He said he's looking for a lady that fits with his personality. And she asked, why are you not married yet? He said, you can answer that too. She's like, I work all day and, then she owns her own company. She's very, very picky and only has time on the weekends to even meet with friends. So Hatab says, copy paste. I was like, dude, you could have said something more than copy paste. Then Osma has a date with Kareem. Remember, Kareem just ended things with Safa. He says they had a connection. She says they had a connection and then all of a sudden it stopped. He said he was betrayed by people he loved a lot of times. It has changed him. He is not the same person he was in the past. Maybe that's why he's, he doesn't want to feel numb anymore. And she said, this is a reaction to your trauma. And what are you afraid of? He's like, I don't know. He's not open yet. And that's why the connections are not there yet. But he wants to see her again. We do learn in this is that there are 40-minute dates. So 40 minutes, he said these 40 minutes flew by. And I was like, interesting. 40 minutes, then you have 20 minutes to take a break, do what you need to do, and then go back to the next pod. Interesting. Then we have Karma and Amar have their reveal. Oh my gosh, our first reveal. Oh, is this? Yes. The doors open and he hugs her and says he loves her smell. She tells him he looks handsome. And one thing I want to know, Karma, do you have a fan for every dress? Because she has these beautiful plumed fans. And it seems like the fans match the color of her dress. So I'm like, how many fans did you pack? Because she had a gorgeous black dress. And while we saw her with other color fans, this time she had a black fan. Very good thinking. She was like, all these lights? I'll be feeling hot. I am not going to be sweating in these pods. She was hyperventilating, and he put the ring, interestingly enough, on her right hand. In the US, we put it on your left hand. So I'm going to certainly research that. He stands, and he's standing while she is sitting, and he puts it on. He asks for a kiss on the cheek. Remember, we are in the UAE. These signs of affection and public displays of affection is not considered, I wouldn't say normal. It's not considered respectful. Then we have Safa and Mohammed. He sent her flowers and a meal. I love her shirt. Safa, this date with Mohammed, she had a wonderful, off the shoulder, but this shoulder had a huge decoration, and the whole arm was chiffon. It was beautifully done. Love that shirt. He asked her who was young Safa as a child. She said it was scary. She doesn't remember most of it. She does remember what it was like in the building where they lived in Kuwait, but after that, she does not remember their experiences when they went from Iraq to Russia and other places. She remembers minuscule things like, but school was a challenge until she went to university, because when trying to fit in, she was often bullied. He was very, very receptive to this. He said he wanted to hug her and comfort her. Then we move to Mido. He is 39 and real estate. He has a date with Osma. He is high energy, and she is just laughing and eating it up. He wants to enjoy living together and growing together. And he can imagine spending the rest of his life with her. Osma says, he makes her bubbly and loves his sense of humor. Then Osma's next date is with Kareem. Tells her, what do you want? What will help you get clarity? And she's like, okay. She said yesterday she was the only one. He said she was the only one he was thinking of because he wants her. But she had to ask him for that. It feels like if the ladies have to draw Kareem out. But remember, he just said he was betrayed before, and so he is scared. So she's like, you're not telling me anything to make me feel safe. So I don't know. She does break up with him, saying there's nothing more to say. So in the men's lounge, he tells them that he broke it off. I was like, oh, no, we didn't. No, you didn't, Kareem, say you broke it off. Because she was like, there's nothing more for us to talk about. Unless this is, of course, an edited show, and they're not telling us and showing us what is there. What really happened, show? So Osma has another date with Hatab. She wants a man who takes care of himself. He has to be athletic and into sports. Hatab does not look like this. Hatab is a plus-size young man. Okay? Now, he does say that he wants to change his life, and the past 2 years have made a difference, and he is not where he wants to be. So that's a little lingo to tell her, hey, I am not the fit dude that you're looking for right now, but I do want to change my life. So she asked him about, how is DJing going to fit in his life with a wife? He said his main priority will be his wife. Then he lists off all his money stuff. He's part owner of a tech company. He has many pieces of real estate. And she's like, you didn't tell me before. He's like, I didn't want you to look at me as a finance dude with money. I'm an architect. but I didn't want you to see my money before you learned who I am. I totally understand him. He does say he wants to be happy, and he wants to be happy with her. And it makes sense, she said, the way he talked to her all the time. It made sense, the topics of conversations he brought up. He never brought up money. So she says she's looking forward to being with him. She does want him, and with an open heart and mind. He says, are you sure? She's like 100%. He, his understanding and opening up gave her the best feeling. And he said he feels like flying. Okay. It's always great when their partner makes you feel like flying. Then we have Mido. She said she made her decision before, talking to him. This is Mido with Osma. And, it made him feel like number one, but now he can't trust girls. Mido, this is a whole dating thing. So why can't you trust girls now? Just because Hatab came back and said, hey, had a great date. Come on now. So on the date, he's like, hi, bye. It's like, dude, could we be respectful? Could we listen? He said, do we have anything to talk about? And he's like, he was acting like really having a little tantrum. She's like, you don't want to speak? Can't you just tell him the reason why? He's like, he doesn't need to know. So he walks out. I was like, this is too much for me, Mido. You have no cool points right now. Let the lady have her say. So we have Safa and Muhammad, and he says she is the beautiful reason why he wakes up in the morning now. He proposes, will you be mine and light up my life? Wait a minute, Muhammad. A poet. She says that is beautiful. Yes, of course. And he wants to be her rock and take care of her every day. He's told the men in the gentleman's lounge that he was panicked because she didn't answer right away. Are you having second thoughts, Safa? So Hatab and Osma, he reads her a letter. He proposes. He says, you complete my puzzle. Now, for someone who likes puzzles, that is deep. I'm sorry. Because if you're missing that last piece, the puzzle is never complete. So I understand. Osma says, of course, she's very happy and she's crying. He says he doesn't want to ask for her hand there. He wants to ask her dad. And this is the first time in his life his legs have ever been shaking. I can understand. So we have Simo. He said, it's just weird listening to a voice and feel like you're falling in love. And Simo has a date with Yasmin. Okay. He left her, it looks like about 3 dozen roses for her birthday. And he says, this is nothing, but she's like so thankful. She's like, oh my God, this is a wonderful gesture. This is amazing. And he's like, this is just a little bit, just a little thing. No need to go off, the deep end. She's like, this is the most precious memory in my life. He's like, yeah, let's wait till the end because you may have more precious memories coming. And she says his honesty scares her, but in a good way. In a woman's lounge, Hajar says that if she has to convince a guy that, she's better for him, she's just not doing it. And I agree with you, Hajar. Then we see Simo and Hajar have a date. Simo has a single rose in his pod. And the single rose is covered with Hajar's perfume. So he sits there and he smells it. And she's like, I stole a flower from another girl and sprayed my perfume all over it. She says that Yasmin had a date and they gave it to her, but she won't say who the dude is. Simo is sitting on his couch smelling the rose and says, I am that dude. She is shocked. Her jaw is hitting the floor. She is like, oh my word, is this the end? Oh my gosh, I stole a flower he gave to another girl and gave it to him. She said, this is embarrassing. Oh my word. He says, what does this mean? I gave it to someone and this rose came back to me. What is the meaning of this? He says it means that we have won. And I'm not putting two and two together. She is so happy that he's happy. She's like, hey, you're the only guy I made a move on, so please understand. Put a comment below. What do you think of that? She took one of the roses from the girls that he gave a bouquet to and gave it back to him, yet he sees it as, oh, if you let something go and it finds its way back to you, then it was meant to be. That's his kind of thought. But I'm like, dude, Simo, she just stole a rose. She did not ask production to get you a flower. She just took it. Simo. Anyway, he likes it. I gotta love it, I guess. So then we have Safa and Muhammad's reveal. They have a very tight hug. She cries on his shoulder. He says she is so beautiful, but she does not call him handsome. I'm looking at that, Safa. Puts a ring on her finger and the promises here to protect and appreciate her. He says all of the wonderful things he said in his initial proposal. She feels like she's in a dream and feels safe. He gives her a forehead kiss and kisses the back of her hand after he walks her back to her reveal area. That was so nice. Such a sweet moment. But she didn't say he was handsome. Okay. So we have Shafiq and Hajar have a date. They're both wearing green. It's both linen. They have an, not so great day. So they're like, oh, we match on so many levels. He said he's looking for a girl who respects herself and him, is loyal, and great communication. You going to tell Shafiq that you just stole a rose? Are you going to tell him? You going to tell him you stole a rose? Okay. Because that ain't very respectful from where I'm sitting. She says she wants to raise her kids in English and French schools. She does not want to be the strict mother. And he said he will not force his kids to do anything, but he will teach them his religion and traditions. Okay? I still say, she ain't telling you about taking that rose, huh? Then Shafiq has a date with Dunur. Says his type has to be tanned, has a great smile, and laugh. Height does not matter. She says she's a deep intellectual. She also likes a tanned guy with good arms. Keep in mind, she is not tanned. And I think it's Dunya is her name, but I'll get it right. Since a lot of girls talk to him, she's having second thoughts. And he says, they don't make me feel the way you do. Okay? Sound like a player talk, but I'm sorry. I'm guessing he is truly feeling this young lady. He says, don't talk to the other guys because it will be a turnoff for him. And he just doesn't want to leave. He keeps saying her name over and over to make sure she's there. She's like, hush, I have the door open. I'm leaving. He's like, I don't want to leave. The speakers are still working. Let's keep talking. Really good indication that he likes her. And, I'm like, I guess the radio frequency or whatever, the speakers stopped working to force them to leave. Then we have Hatab and Osma's reveal. The sliding glass doors open and we see a frown on Asma's face. That is how we end episode 2. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I hope you will tune into episode 3. I'm trying to make these short and sweet so that you can keep on coming for these bite-sized videos. But please like the video. Leave me a comment. Share the channel. Just subscribe so you know exactly when I'm putting out videos and commentary. I again so appreciate it. And see you on the next one. Let's see what Osma really thinks, because I did tell you Hatab is not very fit.